We have a new daily candle. It was not a great daily candle, but it wasn't the worst. So, Kings. Hello, traders. Welcome to the stream, the pullback stream, where Bitcoin's just made its lowest daily candle close since the 13th. Just emphasis on the previous peak from November 5th, 3 days in a row, unable to breach that. That's okay though. Why is that okay that there was no breakout? Because if you don't remember the stat of all stats, I believe, where the relative strength index saw its highest price since December 5th of 2017. Way too high. You gotta pull back some, man. 89 plus. Now, at least you're sitting at 78. All right, that's just, not near as Chernobyl as it was. So, continuing to pause. This was part of the pause. You get some more candles like this. Eventually, we're out of over bought territory, back in the bullish control zone. Things can reset, and then more of the rally could continue. But that just, you gotta understand. I mean, in the bad macro, right? And that's the story of the stocks today, more so than the cryptos. Yes, many cryptos got obliterated. Theta at the end of the day was down 10%. Crow, Hex, Algo, Sol, Maker, ICX, GRT, FIL, SNX, FTM among the worst losers on the day. But this will happen. I would say relatively tame day for Bitcoin considering what happened on the S&P. It was nasty, dude. Really ugly. And this is why we said yesterday, I mean, you're kind of out above that trend line, but I don't think we can say if it is real or not. And today was a big statement on the S&P. So that's your Bitcoin failing to breach the previous discernible high, now matching it, which is okay. The same high, not a lower high. That's okay, but it's not great. Look at Ethereum real quick. That, hit an 88% retrace. We knew it was there. There was just no reaction yet. I think you got one. You got some of the reaction. You're thinking about 3 days of it being at an 88% retrace from its previous high to low, right? Bitcoin achieved a 100% retrace. Ethereum has only achieved a 88% retrace from the same peak in November. So that's fine, right? RSI was stupid at 86.89. Are you kidding me, man? When was the last time Ethereum saw that? Ethereum had not seen a reading that high since January of 2021. So not as crazy as Bitcoin, but still that's massive, all right? I mean, you're talking January of 2021. In fact, you were kind of close to the same price. You were like at the same price, but you were on the way up, so that's where you are. A nice rally, you broke out, and a run to a formal 886 from the previous high. This is where you can pause. You can literally reverse to the downside too. So this is just an area to pay attention to. Just like 1224 was an area to pay attention to. Hey, if you break that level, there could be consequences. And off the breakout of 1224, Ethereum appreciated in value in 2 weeks, 32%. So now you're set a new level. Oh, can we get audio checks? Make sure we're good there. Maybe I'm loud. I don't know. BNB fell back below the 300 support resistance from some. Yeah, back below it. Yikes. And what's crappy about, I mean, just think about it. That's an 886 of sorts, right? High to low, 88% retrace. I mean, yeah, you wicked above it, but look at where it reacted. You got a high, the lower low, the lower high, the lower low, the lower high again. I mean, BNB, not really that great. I mean, it's cool that it's been rallying like crazy, but again, I think they're better assets with better setups than BNB at this current time. And we know, like, dude, if the macro, if the S&P, that was real, what happened today, everything's screwed. Like, I don't know how crypto could even the ones that were promising. I mean, the ones that were promising are up like 40 to 50% off those entry levels. So if the macro, like the S&P and the stock market crashes and stuff, or we accelerate downward, the assets that were well off those entries are gonna probably be coming back down, man. Another bad thing about BNB, undeniably, is look at this sheer hidden bearish divergence. That's real. That's real hidden bearish divergence on BNB. Bitcoin's not showing that, nor is Ethereum. This one's different because of the whacked out news and it was getting wrecked, you know. Let's go to XRP. That wasn't really that hurt, you know, it wasn't that affected. I mean, it is making a lower high than the previous high. Still, it has not even been able to test the neckline of the potential double bottom. And oh God, man, you gotta be kidding me. Like from that high to this high, that is more hidden bearish divergence developing. I hate it being below the 200-day moving average. I mean, it's been just a problem so many times. So many failures to break, and you're doing it again. What's going on? I mean, it's just, you can't, you're just not going to catch bids when the S&P does what it did today. Sucks. And then we look at what was the golden child, is not so much, right? Shiba, it was up 20%, and then it closed the day out above what, 6% or something. Significantly, and broke the 200-day simple moving average, though it has done it. It did it October 29th. And it did it November 1st, and it technically did it November 4th, but key characteristic of those closes above the 200 was the next day only and always rejecting, and then separating and falling below it again. Beyond that, you've never had Shiba above the 200-day simple moving average. It's too new of an asset. When it was going through the insane stuff, there wasn't enough data for it to be plotted, but now there is, and you did break that pretty nice, but again, man, like what happens if just you get the same type of behavior? It looks, I mean, it looks okay. It looks fine. I mean, it ran up to the level where you think you would run up to, and this is where people took profit. And it's like the profit taking turned into, oh, wow, this is really bad for stocks and crypto and Bitcoin pulling back. I mean, Bitcoin had almost, what, 6% swing. It hit its highest high in the morning. Yeah, 6% from the high to low, and you're inching closer to that, where it's like a real loss of 6% from the highs. And I adjusted the little flag here on the 4-hour. Instead of it being a wedge, you know, just 1 and 2 on the top and then 1 on the bottom. It's trying to make more sense of it. Look, these are really small patterns, so they turn into new things. That's just the way it is. When you're dealing with small, insignificant, trash little patterns after big impulses, you better get used to understanding that what you think might be what it is not what it is, right? Hey, a 200+ day large pattern on an asset, okay, that's real. But we're talking the 4-hour, 60-minute, where it's subject to change because the structure is like 4 days large, 4 days long, right? So maybe that's what's going on with this. No back test to 19891 yet. Not yet. Shiba, about the only one that was up. I think Engine ended up being up like 1% or something. But look at that. I mean, just like what it was doing. What kind of insane candle is this? Do you see this on Engine right now? Talk about a shooting star. Yeah. What's the most famous shooting star? I know we have Halley's Comet, right? But if that's the case, that's Halley's Comet right there. I mean, there is no wick on the bottom and the largest tail you can imagine. How large is that tail? Oh, that's just a 20% tail. Yeah. You could see that from the Andromeda galaxy, probably. It's so large. Wow. Good Lord. Not really. Don't know what to make of that. Either way, it was up. The only reason I'm looking at it is because it ended the day up yesterday, even though it was up by like nothing. I think KNC was up yesterday a little bit, but yeah, again, most of these are, oh, it makes sense why they're losers and would only collapse to the lowest lows of the bear market. Most of them look like that, right? We were never contesting that. That was always the general consensus. But there were just a few like Shiba, kind of like Doge, ones like Litecoin that had already put in their lows in June. They looked okay. But for the most part, ones like XLM, like look at this. Too much sense being made on why it pulled back there, right? Too much sense on why it possibly rallied at a key inflection point from 2019, right? You hit the level, there was some seller exhaustion and the macro recovered, Bitcoin popped and this rallied with it. But where did it go? It went straight up to 9 cents. What does 9 cents look? How many times do you have to see reversals at this level to understand? That's what happened. It just repeated history, straight down, straight up, could go straight down again. Heck, man, if you got 7 cents again, that'd be awesome. Could be a confirmation low, double bottom. But for now, you got an unfortunate situation where the hidden bearish divergence just continues. You make the high on price, you make the lower high on price, and now you make another lower high on price. You just higher levels every time. Pathetic, like really trash. Again, most of them look like trash. Most anyway. KSM though, right? That it had been terrible, but it put in a type 2 return, which was a characteristic that most or no other extension
Totals
pattern.
Has a 200-day MA, first time since April.
What's up, Rob? Thanks, dude. We'll look at total. Yeah, you're right. A back test. None of the extension patterns out there like Mana and KCS, like KuCoin's token, none of them. They showed harmonics, 1414s, 1618s, but they all just reacted and they just went nuts. This one spent a lot of time confirming a bottom at a very key all-time low, and all it did was back test the breakout as support. So a formal breakout and back test. That's pretty cool. Again, it's not gonna go well. It hasn't made a higher high either, than its previous highs. So if the stock market continues its dump tomorrow, yeah, that's not going to go well for crypto at all. Terrible market conditions. When the S&P rolls over, dude, it's just not going to end well for even the most promising of assets. Like, remember YFI, that we knew it was off the 886 type 2. It was up 50% in like 2 weeks. And we knew it was on the cusp of another big breakout, or all-day breakout. But guess what? There was not enough demand. The macro rolled over, stocks dumped, and what happened to YFI? Failure to breach 7450. Still failed. Doesn't mean it's over. Anywhere you pivot that is higher than the 886 would be a higher low, and that would be a form of accumulation argument anyway. And you would want to see 7450 be tested again in the future. But so far, failed attempt of a breakout, and testing and rejecting the 200-day simple moving average for the first time since January 20th of last year. So it has not reversed its trend. I think breaking 7450 would give you a good chance of maybe beginning to reverse your trend. I think that's like maybe kind of your trend reversal area, but it just hasn't happened yet. And unfortunately, with just a slightly lower high, and I'm talking almost the same, but candle closes, right? That's how we gauge divergence. It is slightly lower on price, but with a higher level of positive momentum, That just means that implied continuation downward. Well, it started. Let's see how far that continuation downward would take us. Right, most look like dog crap. This one looked really promising at the 886, the beginning of the year. And what a rally off of that. But so far, unable to break the next level that needs to be broken. But then you look at something like Cardano, that is a larger market cap crypto, and only doing the worst thing you could ever dream of. Now, one thing about it that's different, a little different, is the fact that you made a slightly higher high than the previous high on that momentum. So hidden bearish divergence not really there, but take that with a grain of salt because of how bad it was. And look, 36.24 cents. What is that? It's like daily candle high close, weekly candle high close from May of 2018. So a nice reaction in the middle of nowhere because the macro recovered temporarily for a bear market scrub rally that, you know, up a lot of percentage points, but formal bearish back test of levels that were once resistance are becoming resistance again. That's terrible. That's not what you're looking for. I would think on the RSI, you could almost argue hidden bearish divergence because look, you have the high here and then the lower high, and that's a real peak. This might not be a discernible peak, right? It's just part of the wave down. You look at it like that. That's why I like having multiple oscillators. And I think that would be fair to say when it's overbought, right? Highest RSI Cardano had seen since August 2021. You could say maybe hidden bearish divergence on the RSI. Again, this one was never good. This one was never promising. This one was always trash. There was no edge. It just popped when when Bitcoin popped, right? For a scrub rally. Litecoin, unfortunately, has closed with a bearish engulfing candle below $84. I think that is somewhat significant. You do not want to be below this level very long because if you stay below this level too long, history tells us where it would go. And straight down and up and 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 what? Below this level for real, down. Which $66 is a target below this level. So it's not about the breakdown itself. It is about the follow through you will receive after the breakdown that was just confirmed.
Am I seeing a 3 rising methods on XRP on the 1 month?
Is Kristen by me, man? We will look at it. Thank you, dude. Look at it right after this. So, you know, if you're a Litecoin bull or fan, you really want to see Litecoin like today, as soon as possible, get back above 84. Otherwise, you understand the downside from where you are is about 20 to 22%. Unfortunately, right? I mean, what it looks like on the slightly higher high is you've got some of that buyer exhaustion where it's classic. It's not hidden because it was a higher high, not a lower high. The slightly higher high with lower levels of positive momentum that is developing, and you're about to see resolution soon, whether a fake out happens or you're about to break down more. So that's what's going on with this one that had already bottomed out. It looked pretty freaking good compared to almost all the others. It was way better. Yep. So let's XRP real quick. Yeah, the monthly. Well, dude, here's the thing. I wouldn't be like, I mean, you can look and see something partially developing and be like, yeah, but first off, that pattern you're trying to identify that is not even close to being real, it's meant to be a continuation pattern. You're meant to see it on the way up. You're already running. You're not trying to bottom out. So the context of that is terrible. So, and you would have to close in 13 days. XRP would have to close at 48 cents. So it'd have to go up another dime, another 10 cents to have a confirmed 5 candlestick pattern in a weird spot. So it's, I mean, like, that's the only way it becomes real. If you, in 13 days, you close below 48 cents, it's not valid at all, okay? Thanks for the contribution to the stream and community, Chris. Thanks, dude. Also, we have multiple new patrons, Citadel members. Real quick, let me give a shout out to Scott T, Chillwave, Jack Rosie, Crypto Sonographer, Rudolph, In Plaza. All within 24 hours or so. Thank you all for joining and supporting this channel and community. Appreciate it. Let's go to that awaited, long-awaited S&P, because this is the story of the day. You want to talk about fear going nuts again?
Hey Mitch, can you check out fee? Am I seeing Adam and Eve or cup and handle on 4HR?
Well, we did just look at YFI and spent a decent amount of time on it, but we can definitely look again, sir. Thank you for the contribution to the stream, man. Yeah. So this is just like the worst thing you could ever dream of happening, I think. Because look, it is the mother of all trend lines. You were kind of at it yesterday, that's why we're like, we're not saying anything. Did you break it? I don't know, man. Let's see what happens with new data. And we got the new data, and it was bad. Real bad. I mean, you're below the 200-day simple with the supply line, and it was, you closed at the lows, and it was the lowest daily candle close since January 10th, and there's an unopened or unfilled gap that tomorrow, I'm sure, you'll see 39.19 fill the gap. But what's kind of concerning is you do see the histogram island where it was December 1st, right here at that peak. And if you just from that high to the new high that is significantly lower, you can clearly see what? What can you see? This is how it works, man. It's like new data presents itself, and we respond off of that, and new things get painted. What type? Make sure you're on the same page. Yes, it would be hidden bearish divergence. Another unfortunate tale.
Also, can you check out $OMG?
Misigo. Yeah, we'll do it. Thank you, Nicholas, for the 40 on the day. My God. Yes, sir. The sheer and utter rejection of the bullish control zone. I mean, that is maximum goes. That's 60, dude. You can't do that. It's just not how it works. If you want to be, oh, we want to reverse our trend and we're going to go higher and things are going to get better. You don't do that. On the daily time scale, you just don't. So it's not just that one. It's the congregation of variables. It's this, the price, and the trend lines, and the moving averages, and then the MACD histogram with hidden bearish divergence, and the effing rejection. God. Disgusting, man. It's Mama Ivy. Oh my God. Look out.
Mama Ivy is downtown, tipped $100. Saw used 4 hours already.
Oh yeah, I think I see her. She's dancing on the rooftop bar. I see her. Hey, Mama Ivy. She can't see me. She can't see me over there. I'll get her attention. I don't know. We keep flashing lights. She'll look over. Thank you, dude. Holy crap. Or thank you, lady. You know what I'm saying. We will look at that. Let's look at let's knock these index funds out, right? Because it's like, hey, it's part of the beginning. Really bad, really bad, boys. This is where it's like, okay, market participants are now confirming. They are confirming, chat. And it was close. I mean, it was a slightly lower high, so you can't say definitively we had hidden or classic bearish divergence, but when it's that close, man, that's pretty freaking ugly, dude. This right here is the worst thing I think that could ever happen. Okay, you were just on the upper end of the threshold of the bearish market, right? Where this is the top of bear markets, right? This right here is, could someone tell me what this is and how many effing times we've seen it and how we're now witnessing it on a major index fund? Someone give me the definition, because this is something that I instill on the stream. If you invest in yourself, you know what the terminologies are. Right? We always look at, we love springs and back tests of springs, but it's, what is it? What would be the opposite of a spring, back test of spring? Do you remember the terms? I mean, it is potential double top, but that's not what I'm asking. It's a Wyckoffian term. Joe, that's partially right. Come on. It's multiple things. It's two things, not one thing. We have a few right answers. Kind of. No one actually answered it completely perfect. Jeb Brown's, oh my God. Oh.
Jack Brown's tipped $100. Y'all be nice to Mitch, he's a real one. Most of you all leave when it turns bearish. Wake up. Mama Ivy loves you all.
We love you too, Jack Browns and Mama Ivy. Thank you so much for the 100. You just one-upped Mama Ivy. I don't know how she's going to take that. Oh, gosh. I see her. She's checking her phone on that rooftop. She stopped dancing, dude. So it must have triggered her. She does not look happy. Wow. Sorry. Good one, Jack Browns. Whew, thanks so much. Wow, that's freaking amazing. Especially on a day like this, man. The bloody days. All right, so to just scroll up a little bit, we had some partial. Eric Fiat was partially right. He said up thrust. The action of the up thrust was this. That was the up thrust. Like the spring, right? You sprung and then the back test of spring. But instead of it being a back test of spring, it would be a back test of up thrust. The back test of up thrust. Extremely bad. It is like a very powerful form of confirmation. I think it might be the most powerful form of confirmation. You getting a break who can go at that level is another thing, but like your follow through, the beginning of the follow through is kind of staggering. Whoa, at 1.81% after the failed. It wasn't the failed breakout, which was the up thrust. It was the formal back test, the perfect back test of up thrust. So this could have consequences. It's almost like you would look at this maybe, just maybe, like a bearish dragon of sorts. Hey, we had a bullish dragon. Look at that. But now it's like literally the opposite. And look really what's going on. I mean, depending on how you anchor it, maybe right there to be really conservative. Either way, if you're conservative or you're not, you're just going with that first touch. It is a breakdown. I mean, you have a bearish dragon. right? Tell me the difference between what was this and then what was, flip the chart over. You get it? I mean, that's gnarly. And these are all of these highs, all of them from August, November, and now January. All of them are lower than the highs from April of 2022, March 2022, February, and January 2022. So just pay attention. It's been the best performer of the index funds, but if we see some fall through below $33,300, you understand how bad it could get. A lot of up and down could be doing the same thing. Dang, man, 280 traffic. Ooh. I thought it was 289 traffic now, dude.
280 traffic tipped $100. Y'all don't tip on down days. Same guys who kidding about being broke. I got Ema to smile.
Dang, 280 traffic. That's really, really nice. Thanks for the 300 on the day. Spoiler alert. It's the same awesome person. Okay. But last time you said 289 traffic. And I was like, what? What's 289 traffic? But yeah, 280 traffic. Oh, believe me though, I'm sure there will be some road in Miami that's worse, you know. Thank you, dude. The NASDAQ composite. Oh, God, right? I mean, just, wow. I mean, right at it, yeah? Like, tests it and then just rejects it bearishly, engulfs, and there you have it again, man, where it's like possibly hidden bearish. Oh, no, we're like, you can't even see 60. Well, you probably did. Oh my God, you did test 60 and rejected it here too, just like you did on the S&P 500. Dude, that is terrible. You saw 60 for the first effing time since August of last year. And it's just, nope. Heck no, you're not going to break that level. Disgusting. Doesn't it look like inverted Dow? A little bit, yes. But, man, if the Dow's rolling over, there's no... NASDAQ is like... Just because you confirm a bottom in a downtrend doesn't mean the trend reversed. And until you break the confirmation line of the potential double bottom, it's not even a pattern. You get that right. Until it broke 11.5, it wasn't even real. It's still not real. In fact, all it's doing is staying confined in the downtrend, the supply line. So, gross. Just disgusting. Wow. And sadly, very sadly, the IWM... Look, the high from January and February of last year, June correlation, September, November, multiple times, December, and now January of 2022. City Federal, oh my God! He fat fingered the 289. Oh my God.
City Federal tipped $100. Sorry I get swollen fingers counting all this money. Fat fingered 289 instead of 280.
I just felt like streaming.
Wow. Wow. I mean, City Federal is a big building, so, you know, it might have been City Federal fat fingered it because it's such a big building. It was at one time the largest building in the South, in Alabama. But then other buildings came to be. Yeah, time went by. And then Birmingham went to heck. And it's kind of stayed dead, you know, super slow. And, you know, it served me well, though, right? It's a great place to develop as a human being. You know, you pick up the good qualities. But, yeah, there are other things out there. Thanks so much, City Federal, for the 400 on the day. That is freaking amazing, okay? Thanks so much. That's gotta be it, right? There's no way there would be 5 Bitcoin balls in the jar. That's just not gonna happen. Let's just call it right now. We're calling it. That was it. Okay. So those are your index funds. Let's go to the couple requests, okay? Mama Ivy wanted, so let's who was first? Chris, we already looked at that for Chris. YFI again, we'll look at it real quick. Just going in order. And again, he asked about YFI, and then Sol will be after that. Roll Tide, by the way, RT. Wait, YFI, then OMG, sorry. YFI on the, he said, Adam and Eve are cut with handle on 4 hour. I mean, look, man, you have not put in a higher high in a very long time, including now. Unfortunately, with candle closes where it really matters when the day ends and traders settle up, they have to because the day closes, you've still only put in a lower high. All that needs to happen, though, fortunately, is no matter how bad this gets, no matter how far it falls, as long as it makes a higher low.
Ticker dollar new. Thanks and keep up the good work.
Des Chain, thank you, dude. We'll look at it. Cheers. Much love. Thank you for watching. All that YFI has to do is make a higher low than the previous 2 lows, and it'll be starting to show an accumulation argument that'll happen. But for now, all you've done is simply failed to break one of the last lines of resistance until insane upside. 50% upside above 74.53, but guess what? It was never ensured that market participants were going to be able to overtake that supply at that level, which we knew there'd be supply. Not yet, and they may never, okay? Because the lower high could just continue the downtrend, but we just got to see momentum shift with a higher low, and then a retest of 74.50 later, and once you break it, then 50% upside. So it's just kind of, yeah, this happens. Bad macro. Oh, I was definitely wrong. I'm the chef of the leprechaun. Everybody say yeah. Yeah.
Bruh. The leprechaun tipped $100. Everybody wanna see the Shiba chart? Say yeah,
we will certainly see the Shiba chart. Hey, if you want to see the Shiba chart, say yeah in the chat. That's what he said. Thanks so much, Leprechaun, for the 5 hundo. That has to be it. There's no more landmarks, right? Certainly, you can't know any more landmarks in Bama. People talking about Hex dumping. I don't know, Mama Ivy might want to see that too. I don't know. Hex, it was a sad story on Hex. On the failed, it was a test of old support. It became resistance and bad rejection. It was ugly. It was like a more ugly looking YFI on test of levels as resistance. So that's your YFI. Then your OMG. That early was OMG was another one that, yes, it reversed out of support. That was it though. It wasn't showing anything special. It was like the majority. They were all looked like garbage. OMG, and then Sol. Oh, we didn't even look at total. That certainly, look at that, right? Of course, 4 out of 5 days tested 963 and failed and pulled back. But yes, I back tested 200-day simple moving average. It was always resistance, right? It just became support yesterday. The last time you back tested as of support, I guess like last time since December 2021. Wow. So it didn't even see an 886. You figured it would have gone to 998 to see an 886. It saw a 78% retrace and reacted somewhat. It's not bad. It's not too bad. It's not showing that bearish divergence either. No. But yeah, Tia respected in regards to, hey, there might be supply here. There was supply here. Yep. For now. Okay, now we look at Sol for 4 hour. For Mama Ivy, who's dancing on the rooftop. So Sol, I mean, daily is pretty good to look at too. All you're seeing on Sol is $21 being tested. As it's been tested before, right? 2040, look right there, 2150, that low from April of 2021. That's where you are, So you broke key levels, but you just nonstop, right? Now you're trying to back test them. You think eventually, if it was just going to do the 886, you think eventually you could see $35, but man, I don't know, man. It's like it pumped on Vitalik tweeting randomly. Certainly the RSI on the 4-hour went to 40 and bounced, or it's at it. So you're just at a key inflection point, right? Where if you don't hold this, you get $18. If you don't hold 18, then you're going way lower, right? But if you do, that's where there could be more upside, right? I mean, that's just where you are. Sometimes an asset's in the middle of inflection zones. This is at one. I don't think anything's like telling you that it's going to reverse here or anything. It's just you're sitting there. Probably going to be dependent on Bitcoin, what it does. But we'll look at the daily too. That yes, another thing where there wasn't any kind of bearish divergence, fortunately. But yeah, you're just right at it, right at that zone that holds. Yeah, you definitely be rallying. We'll see. Music stop. Wait, do we look at OMG? Am I crazy? No, we did not look at OMG. My bad. I don't even know what happened. Nicholas. Here you go, Nicholas. All right, so it was pretty blah. You know, I mean, there were just better things out there. That's fine. But we knew 2018, 2019 lows, 2019 peaks. We knew inflection. So one failed attempt, then the second failed attempt. On the second failed attempt, bullish divergence. Got it. A lot of things were doing that. And off of that, what it did, it rallied and made its highest price since November 8th. But as you can see, it's just kind of unable to break 132. That's real. So you're just in between this major zone, whereas between 108 and 145, it's normally straight up, straight down. Most recently, you didn't do that. So you think that's the target still. It might have to do this, though. If the macro isn't good, you know, stocks sell off. Maybe you come for a spring back test, and it could be legendary entry. But at this time, without that, I mean, there's just nothing strategic about entering right now as of today, right? You want to wait for back tests. 102 would be even better, right? To just go and nick that February 2019 low, right? Just... And then inverse head and shoulders, maybe. Like, you'd have more arguments. And now you're close to hidden bearish divergence, kind of. So hopefully you get 108 backtest minimum. And then maybe you'd be showing something then, right? But where you are, there's just, how do you set your stop loss? Because you set your stop loss up, it goes lower, then goes to 108, and you're stopped out. And then it pivots at the strategic level, right? Steven, you should never have that mentality. You should always be learning. No matter how many years you learn, you keep learning. So that's what I think about OMG, Nicholas. All right, you come back down to these levels, it could be cool. But if you break them, you go to 58 cents. You're screwed. The downtrend continues. Okay, so Jack Brown's 280 traffic, 289 traffic, and then NU for Death Chain, and then Shiba after that. Okay, so NU, I don't ever look at this coin. It's so illiquid, right? It's like, well, you can look at it. I just, oh yeah, like this is why. Like, it was taken on my watch list eons ago. Okay, this old level from December 2020, January 2021. That was the golden time for all these new coins. Many of them, Cake and Bake and Ocean and CRV, they all presented these fantastic harmonics right there around that time, and then they did go insane. But now, all this time later, right, and even it became that same level again, of a battleground between buyers and sellers between May all the way up to October of last year, really until November, and then you broke it. And now, yeah, it was a nice pump based on nothing. right? There was divergence like everything else. Okay, the macro recovered, so new recovered in you. But it was inorganic, right? It was like your lowest low and a rally, and then now you're back below the level you want to be above, like above 16.55 cents. That equals 24 cents fast. Even in the summer, the dead summer, right? July of 2022, you got close, or you did touch the next level. So you're not doing anything that is significant to me. This is a loser. Maybe things will change, but it's been awful. It's been terrible. If anything, deep crab, all-time lows. But yeah, dude, just hands off limits below 15 to 16 cents. Okay, above that, it's still kind of. But breaking that, a lot of upside. Yeah, sure, but you're not above that, so screw it. Sorry. Now we go to Shiba, that had such a good day yesterday, and then it was all taken away, but for 6%. But it's not about the daily. It's not about the 20% up in a day. It's not about that on Shiba. Shiba is the patient man will win in the end, or the weekly tells you. The weekly. It's a bullish dragon breakout. It's a 99% retrace, double bottom. That's it. That's what it is. That's where you understand that it is a confirmation low has been put in at a key level, and you have begun to rally off of that low, and that's kind of a signal. It started with a bullish engulfing candle a couple weeks ago. Beginning of the year, January 2nd. Suddenly, a new year, suddenly, new price action. So if you're looking at the weekly, 1700 is that target, you know, again, and then breaking that 1700, 2100, 2700, then 3000 after that. But yeah, it's just like, it's hard to imagine, you know, how can that happen if the stock market implodes, man? How can it happen? I mean, when, you know, hey, Justice Department charging the founder and majority owner of Bits Lotto Limited with processing over $700 million of illicit funds, and Coinbase is halting operations in Japan. And also, and weeks ago, Kraken did the same thing. And, Genesis is preparing for bankruptcy. And Party City today was halted ahead of its bankruptcy announcement, right? Bed Bath & Beyond down almost 5% today. They announced they're looking for capital infusion and a potential buyer ahead of a likely bankruptcy filing. So, I mean, just with such bad news, how does Shiba play out in the coming weeks, months? It's hard to imagine, right? Good God. I mean, like, macro is terrible, right? Because you got retail sales down 1.1% posted today, and that's the biggest drop in a year. And then you got rising inventories. %15 year-over-year increase in business inventories. Holy crap. The inventory to sales ratio rose to its highest level in 2 years. Industrial production also declined in December. It was a second consecutive drop in the steepest since September 2021. Manufacturing evidence, I mean, slowing, that's real. And, you know, of course, Amazon began a new round of layoffs targeting 18,000 people in human resources and store division, and Microsoft laying off 10,000 workers due to macroeconomic conditions and changing customer priorities. Right, so just like, oh my God, just so many things. It's like composite operator, bearish composite operator today would just, wow, working overtime. He like just woke up, man. He's been sleeping for 18 days. And he's back now. PPI tomorrow. All right, dude. Oh, NU on the New York Stock Exchange. Wow, dude. NU Holdings. Oh yeah, it's I mean, it kind of depends on how you look at things, right? On this one, because again, you just heard all that. It's like so much fear. It's so bad, but yes, you look and you see this M shape. Is it an M shape though? Is it too deep on B? It looks like a 70% plus retrace on B, so too deep. It is 78% retrace on B, which is bad. I mean, that's like 786 and then a lower high on C equals only butterfly, equals only extension patterns. It doesn't mean there is no harmonic that would complete at an 886 with a 786, 886 on B. Unless maybe a higher high, but then you got to have 1618 to 224 on another anchor point of the shark. So you could just look at this. I mean, it's at all-time lows roughly, right? And yeah, like on the daily, just continuation of bullish divergence. But where are the bids, man? Oh, it's IT services. But yeah, all that divergence there. It's real. So you're getting to all-time lows. You go to the weekly. Look at the weekly. You've never seen negative momentum. And all it does is lose since it got listed. You're sitting at 37 on the RSI. Terrible weekly. I mean, I get it. Like, here's the thing. You're like, dude, potential double bottom. It's like, call me when we react and start actually pivoting and rallying where I can actually see, you know, when we were looking at Shiba and it was attempting a type 2 return in late December, early January, we needed to see some green candles. We started seeing them around the 4th of January, 5th, 6th. It's okay, that's real. Okay, we got an idea that this is potential type 2 return, double bottom. This has done nothing. In fact, a couple weeks ago, it made its, well, God, one of its second lowest weekly candle close ever. So I'm just not convinced on this yet. You want to see some price action, a reaction of some sort, response, and this has responded in no way. In fact, look, you know, in the only type. Well, I mean, look, depending on if you anchor like this with this XA, then B, that's a 54, then you do have like a shark, right? You anchor this way. And you're certainly at that, but where's the reaction, right? There's no reaction yet. So just like we saw on, you know, there's a supply line here too. If we could, no, that's it. So if it is some sort of bat pattern, it's got the criteria. A little too high on C though, right? That's my issue. God, it's not perfect, but this is where a reaction would occur. It'd be only a type 1 as well. So the divergence is there. So that's what I got for you on NU. Speaking of Carvana, we're talking about, right? Looking for a buyer. Look at this, man. It's just, here was your all-time low. The all-time low back from 2017. This reminds me of these S coins. Most of the S coins, not some that were looking okay, but most are garbage, like making their lowest low, then rallying to, it's like Cardano, right? It's this old level from years ago and just testing it as resistance, and that's it. Yikes. This is gross, dude. Yeah, that's on Party City, up 7%, of course, right? It's just wild. Look at where it's at, dude. It's just unbelievable, isn't it? And before this becomes the Wall Street Bets one, right? Where, hey man, it's going bankrupt. Let's short squeeze them. Buyers somehow defending the effing 2020 low. It's crazy. Wow, Weight Watchers destroyed, man. Right? Like, buyers defended the 2008 low, which was an all-time low. But look what happened today. Just terrible. Massive bearish engulfing candle. Unable to breach that high from November 3rd, and just probably headed back down to 376. This is gross, man. Real gross. But hey, man, what about CDE? That, again, like, nothing's certain and stuff, and it still really hasn't taken off yet, and may not. And it may fail, but there are ones that are still just down at these basement levels, and you hold them for months. Forget about them. Yeah, but man, most of the market got wrecked today. I mean, all the sectors took hits. I don't know. I mean, like, you know, like something like Micron that got obliterated all last year, and then, I mean, it's not making a higher high yet, and it hasn't done that. And this could fail miserably. It could end up rolling over here and going down to $37. But it did try to hold a bottom, and the bottom that goes all the way back to 2001 and 2000 or 1995. That was also another key level. Buyers defended that twice recently, and a big rally off of it. But just imagine though, like, what would happen if, like, you sold off, you filled the gap, and then buyers held it, and now would be a spring back test? How legendary could that be for a potential long reversal, you know? Let's check on Apple, that only down 0.54%, but this is bad. This is awful, okay? What does it do? When it broke 138, it went straight down to the next support. This has been here. And it hit that level, and it bounced. It reacted violently because limit orders, a general consensus area where there might be demand. Yeah, there was enough of it to push the price all the way up to where? The next level. So we're now getting a formal bearish back test, first time since we broke it in mid-December. It is now formally a resistance again. But dude, it was resistance back in September 2020. It was resistance in December 2020. Resistance in 2021. It was also a support in 2021. And now it's resistance again. And unfortunately, I mean, like, let's see what happens here. But this is very real, okay? What Japanese candlestick pattern, chat? Which one? Tell me. Oh, wait. That's right, Rob. So we got some good answers coming in. I mean, if I keep doing this, keep watching, you will eventually memorize these patterns. The first one to answer correctly was Trip on Magic Incorporated. Good job, dude. And then Ron. Rob and Caffeine and Brian. Razorback, Cactus, Pain Corrector, Brent, and others too, Echo Leaf and beyond. So this is a very real potential dark cloud cover, and it's not just it's dark cloud cover randomly in the middle of nowhere. No, it's happening at an area where you're looking for Japanese candlestick reversals, because inflection points, right? I just showed you how and why with evidence that it is a true inflection point. So we will see catch some follow through tomorrow. Oh man, it's not going to happen immediately. But this is the same type of identification of a Japanese candlestick reversal pattern that we did on natural gas. On Natch Gas. Here it was. The date, August 23rd, 2022. It was its highest. That's what's crazy about this one. It was its highest price it had seen in many, many years. But we were cognizant and aware of where it was. And it just, if this isn't educational, man, nothing is. Because December 2000, 22 years ago, when it presented us the dark cloud cover, or 22 years ago, that's exactly the first time it was an all-time high and it collapsed. Okay? So you never forget those levels. They'll always be there. They're timeless. So that is why it was so real and we put so much heavy emphasis on it, because like, hey man, at a historic, and what we knew was all these other commodities like corn and wheat and soybeans, they reversed at their potential reversal areas in 2008, 2011, 2014, depending on which commodity, where they reversed. And so you identify Japanese candlestick reversals on the tail end of rallies and at key inflection points from history. So let's see, Apple certainly doing that. We'll see if there's follow through. Okay. And poor natural gas, by the way, since we're here. Bearish engulfing candle confirmed. Lowest daily candle close on natural gas since June of 2021. And you've broken kind of like the major level. I guess there is like one more. I don't think that's the big one though. Like looking left all the way back from history, I think the target's 267 on natural gas. Look, dude, that's it. I mean, like there are a few times where it pivots here where you are now. I'm just like calling like the next major level on natural gas is 267. You may not get there immediately, but you're certainly trying, aren't you not? Oh my God. Gross. Really, really gross, dude. Speaking of commodities. Cotton had a good day. Coffee futures had a good day. Everything down, right? I mean, gold is really elevated still, but unable to break 1921, which we know is the key of key levels. We knew that we broke through the black gate, didn't we? Or were we considering this? No, this is the black gate to Mordor, right? Or this was the black gate, and maybe this would be like getting through the hordes of the orcs or something. And then if we see all-time highs again, that's when we are able to drop the ring into Mordor, right? Because remember, it was going to be potentially the Eye of Sauron and darkness over Middle-earth forever, but now we're trying to destroy Sauron, and seeing all-time highs again would destroy Sauron, okay? So you're just at a key inflection point. You have not broken it yet. But hey, guess what? If you have a good day today, if gold spikes and you end up at 1922 or higher, you have a Japanese candlestick continuation, which would be the rising three methods. Silver, kind of looking toppy, isn't it? I mean, up here, elevated, stalling. Buyers are trying so hard, and now you're like trying for the highest level and you're making no positive momentum. It's just gross. Copper, though, is just ridiculous. You know, it broke above its inflection points from history and is still above them, elevated. Wild, man. What about U.S. oil? That day, man, it was breaking resistance, and now it's back below it. The downtrend is intact still. You have not done enough things that you need to. You're actually showing bearish divergence somehow on the daily. How are you doing that, man? Lower high on the MACD, and now Slightly higher high on price. That's bearish divergence. God, just awful. Oh, and look at platinum. Look what it did. It just, remember, it could not breach the supply line from February 2021, March 2022. You upthrusted and you failed. And now you're testing a key horizontal line at 1,030. And if you don't hold that, you could be going down to 900 again. Ah. Oh, there's just, it just seems like, oh man, it's really tough. Like, there's not enough liquidity to breach these key levels where there's supply at on everything. Everything. From S coins to stocks to commodities. Like, we need more money, man. Otherwise, I mean, you gotta have more buyers than sellers, and so far there's too much supply, not enough demand. Whew. Pariah, that is kind of crazy. I mean, right now, let's just break 1921, man. Let's just go test all-time highs again, and then we'll talk about 5K gold. But dude, and that's insane. That's beyond insane. I mean, the amount of, what would the market cap of gold have to be at 5K? Well, if you think about it, probably what, at $10 trillion near all-time highs, and or let's, say 11 trillion or something. Then you're talking about, like, if you doubled that, that's 22 trillion. Oh, you'd have to over double the market cap? No way. Where does 15-17 trillion dollars come from? Where does it come from to make gold hit $5,000? It's true. One egg equals one egg. Egg prices don't update, so it's not going to do any good actually looking at eggs. Right here it is, your egg price. But again, I don't think it updated. Maybe. Yeah, it hasn't even updated from December. You get that? So I mean, it's probably going to be like up another 30. It'll go up once we get more data. I think it's once a month, maybe. Then you're probably going to be up 30% on the next candle, or it's not even a candle. This is a line graph. So, but what about the inverse head and shoulders? It was the Jesus, dude. It's crazy. So yeah, you'll be up at like 550, because this is like the city average per dozen large grade A eggs. I mean, chat, you tell me, if you're buying eggs, what have your prices been of the eggs your last purchase? Spam your prices, like, and legit. Don't be stupid. Just do it like proper. Or do you even remember? Or do you even check? So we got some numbers coming in. 7, 6, 8, 4, 5, 559, 499, 350 in Montana. Mr. Lodick, $7. God. 580 a dozen. $5 Middle America. So minimum from all these numbers coming in, minimum 20. It'll be up 20% next month. So think about it. Since the neckline broke, since 1 year, and what we know now, egg prices are up 157% in less than a year. It'll be a year. It'll be year over year. Eggs up 157%. And you understand, these are still effects coming in from the money printing from 2020 Maybe early 2021 there was more, right? And none of this has anything to do with the $1.7 trillion they just printed. So this will not stop. It can't. It's not. The government spending has completely negated everything the Federal Reserve's trying to do with higher interest rates. Everything. So you won't see the effect of this extra 1.7 trillion and all these newer billions late last year. You won't see the effect for another year and a half, 2 years. So inflation will not stop for at least another 2 years, I think. But people are saying, oh, it's going down. Well, they keep changing the metric and how they gauge inflation, right? Didn't they, on the last CPI report, for the first time ever, they've taken out like what? Consumer prices? Consumer price index, and they're taking out like consumer prices of like food and stuff. The gaslighting is absolutely unreal. Yeah, my Easter egg NFT, probably mooning in value, right? The first Easter NFT, because I have 2 so far. Exponentially expensive, exactly, dude. So on the new day with crypto, Hex merked. Wow. And all's happening after a bearish back test, right? We knew there was, hey, there were some decent things that happened on Hex, but you're not out of the woods. I would say you're starting to get out of the woods if you can ever breach 3.1 cents. What happened? Market participants pushed the asset up to test that level, and there was far too much supply. So the buyers relented, and you've rolled over. And since that formal bearish back test at that level, or just moments ago, and of course a rally is ensued off of the lows now, but there has now been a 31.5% swing in less than 3 days on Hex since that back test. You couldn't break it. We never know if you can, but if you do, we know targets. You didn't break it. You failed. You put in a lower high, and unfortunately, look, the high, then the substantially lower high with higher levels on the oscillators. What is that? Hidden bearish divergence, implying a continuation downward. Ugly, dude. Real ugly on Hex. Hex was like, oh, we got a little hopium on a back test of a support, but now you're threatening it again, and I'm telling you, below 2.1 cents, the only target is 1.4 cents. Well, unfortunately. They're trying to defend it, man. You're falling back below the supply line, too, that you'd broken. What a joke. It's ugly. KNC also getting wrecked on the new day, down 3.63%. I mean, getting wrecked. It's still elevated. KSM down. There's assets that are up too, though. Like storage is up 2.6%. I mean, broke a supply line. And it's still above. If it's above 28 cents, it's okay, but it's not making higher highs. Trend's still bearish. Mana's up 2.6%. You've got a handful that are up 1%. Things trying to recover some. Look at ETC, unable to break that level. That was, you knew at the 886 that was the target area, and we knew there might be some resistance there, and there is. It's like there's sellers there, and you can't break it. And with a bad macro, it's going to be impossible. But again, how much, if it tests it again, it could break it and go nuts. But you're just wondering, man. How are these things going to really go to much higher levels with that stock market being so weird and not good? That was a terrible thing to happen today. That was like a statement candle. You saw it on the largest market cap stock in the world too, Apple, that formal bearish back test with a dark cloud cover. All right, man. Well, we knew it was going to be some sort of a day like this, right? Sorry. Bitcoin is still extremely elevated. RSI is still around 80. Let's say it's 79. Still very overbought, but okay. And I think really it's more testament to the index funds than it would be Bitcoin itself. So yeah, your
Today's
impulse.
just demonstrated the benefit of a good entry. Join the Patreon.
That's right. Like trying to buy yesterday, crazy. It's insane because all the assets, every one of them that were like at good areas, like this one was up 33% in 12 days off the entry, right? You're still like, I mean, QNT had a bad bearish and golden candle and it could all go to heck, man. It really could, but the entry wasn't yesterday. Yesterday was just, hey man, we're just continuing to ascend. Things have already appreciated 30 to 60% in value off the lows, off the type 2 returns, off the confirmation bottoms, right? But doesn't mean enter now. That's crazy, dude. Just like YFI. I mean, like, it was at the resistance yesterday, but like, hey, the formal entry was in the 5,000s and it ran up to 74.50. And thank you for the 3 Xenon. Anyway, so I don't know. There's like, you know, let's keep our eye on the index funds tomorrow. Stock market, the S&P 500 especially. Let's keep our eye on Bitcoin above 19,891 is okay. We're pausing. What I think is happening on Bitcoin was necessary. There's no way Bitcoin's going to be making 89 on the daily RSI. And it just keeps going. I mean, you're talking about it's almost unheard of for Bitcoin to be at this level on the daily. Not one time throughout I mean, I'm talking the most insane hours and days of the mania we saw from Bitcoin going from 3850 to 69K. Not one time did the RSI on the daily hit 89.5 like it did just a couple days ago. So that's what I'm saying. Just knowing that, it's got to pull back some, right? It's down, right? Again, 78. Get me back down to 60, and I'll feel a lot better. But all that has to happen is like kind of sideways price action, and you'll eventually get back to more reasonable levels on the relative strength index. Okay, so I'll leave y'all with that. PPI tomorrow, more data, see what happens. Bitcoin's still in this, right? I mean, it's still consolidating. It's still high and it's still tight. And no damage, right? No damage all done yet on Bitcoin. Just pausing. So I'll take a pause and I'll be back. Until next time. Well, thanks so much, Leprechaun, Mama Ivy, for the 500 on the day, and thanks to everyone else for the contributions. And I'll just be back until next time. Respect the TA.